Alright guys, got a 15-minute game on the board with an opponent rated at 700. 741. So we're going to play classical. Principled classical. So we've got the Petrov. Okay, well I will take the pawn because it's free stuff. And he's taken the pawn and now queen e2. I'm attacking the knight. He can't defend the knight with his queen. Alright, so this is interesting. So now we're already into a tactical situation. If I take the knight, he's got pawn takes my knight. Okay, but then I can come across here with check. Seems to make sense. Does it improve my position? Does it improve my situation in the game? If I take, he takes, I play queen 2. No, I can't check him from there, can I? We can't. Oh, I can take the pawn though. Pawn takes, I take a pawn. I win a pawn. Now if queen blocks, we are at an impasse. Because I can't move my queen away. Both queens are actually pinned against the kings. So either I defend my queen or I initiate the exchange. And I can't see an easy way. I'd like to defend it with a knight, but I don't have one. This bishop is dark squared, but it can't get out there. The only way I could defend my queen is with d4 or f4. No, I'm going to exchange. Then I'm going to get my bishop out and my knight. What's the most? I think knight to here, because then I can come here, threaten the bishop and threaten c7. Okay. Now I'm threatening the bishop, which is undefended. So the bishop should really move to here to defend that square. That's the... But then I have knight there with a fork on these guys. Okay, so what he's done here is he's given himself an escape square for the rook. Or has he? He can't come here because of my bishop. So he has to come here. Then I can retreat to here and attack the dark squared bishop once more. In fact, I should have just taken the bishop, shouldn't I, for free? A very poor play on my side. But I've come back here anyway, attacking the bishop again. Still the rook can't come to here because of my bishop. This is a good thing about bishops, you know. And one of the reasons why you, in general, develop knights before bishops is that... Okay, so this is preparing a discovered check. So now I can take the bishop with check and I can run away with my knight. Okay, but he's also got a discovered check. If he moves his bishop now, I'm in check. Curses. Then I might have to retreat my knight. Yeah, so one of the reasons why you develop knights before bishops is sometimes a bishop can even have a role in a game with only one move. For example, let's say your opponent has castled this way. Yeah. Okay, that comes with check. Well spotted. Alright, where am I going to go? I'm going to go here. So I can release this rook. Yeah, so sometimes a bishop from here, for example, can capture an advanced A pawn. As we've seen in this wonderful book, Logical Chess Move by Move. If you haven't got it, you'll love it. Definitely recommend it. Okay. So I think this is a 16-0 game for me. There's nothing to win at all, everything to lose. Okay. So the rook's now come across to here. It's now looking at a pawn that is undefended. Therefore, we should defend the pawn. However, notice that the bishop and the king are still in line. Therefore, should I move this knight, it is a free move. Now, what can I actually attack with that? I mean, I can go there and check the king with the double check and maybe win the bishop. That would be okay. I can go to here with discovered check, but again, only win the bishop. So, let's do that. It's much more of a bishopy board than a knighty board. The king, there's only two options actually. You can block with the rook, you can block with a pawn, or evade with a king. Okay, I'm going to grab the bishop now. Rook's going to recapture. Okay, and now I should probably think about retreating this guy somehow. I'm thinking maybe here and then fianchetto this bishop. Seems quite sensible. Can also centralise a rook. So what's the right thing to do? Or just play d3, release my bishop as normal. Let's do that. Oh, actually, notice this pawn is under attack, and if he captures this pawn, it's also a discovery against my bishop. So what do we do there? Move the pawn. Or I've got this. No, that doesn't work. Okay, move the pawn. I'm 2 pawns up at this point. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My opponent has got a 2, a 1, and a 2. So bad pawns, but he does have much more active pieces. So I should probably be thinking about moving this pawn. You can't play b5, I'll just capture. Okay, so that's actually a discovered attack on the bishop. What's undefended? Let's do a quick goldfish. Knight's defending that, rook's defending that. The bishop is actually undefended, and the king's got these. So, what do we do? I could drop back here, then he can just push the pawn and annoy me. I could drop forwards. Let's go forwards. This is a nice place for the bishop to sit, where it's defended by a pawn, and in turn defends the pawn. I'd say I have a slight advantage in that I've got 2 bishops left, whereas black has a bishop and a knight. So I might even think about pushing there. Then I can move my king here. Play d4, kick this guy away. Okay. Now, could I play d4 anyway, or should I just play g3 and kick? Let's play g3. Getting my pawns onto dark squares actually makes life harder for this bishop. Constrains him. If he goes here, okay, I'm going to play d4 now. Quick sanity check. Looks okay. So now I'm ready to do this. I want to maybe get my dark squared bishop out to the board. I like this move here. Just takes that square away from the king. So the king actually now cannot move, because both squares are guarded by bishops. So the king is stuck. Now maybe king onto c2, a light coloured square, because black only has a dark coloured bishop, dark squared bishop. And he might want to come in here. He can't go in there, he can't go there. Nah. Nah, mate. If I go here now, you can push pawn. No, not really. Okay, centralising the rooks. It's the last thing to do. A lot of beginners forget to activate their rooks. And actually, if I get to play rook e8, isn't that checkmate? I think it might be checkmate. So he's given up his bishop. Look at that. And now isn't that checkmate? Bishop to there. I think it is. Okay. Okay, so interesting game. Did win 0 points for that, but could have lost 16. So one thing to remember, even when you're playing somebody a lot lower rated, just keep in your mind that there's not less risk for playing someone lower rated, right? There was nothing for me to gain there, but everything to lose. I could have lost 16 rating points and gone back under 1500 in one fell swoop. But interesting little game. Started out principle. We have the Petrov, probably not recommended for a 700 player. Takes, and now queen to here, and I win a pawn because I takes, and takes. Right? Simple calculation. If this, then what? If I play this, what's my opponent going to do? Okay. Now we exchange queens, and I'm a pawn up. Right? Not a massive difference, but look how this missing f pawn turns out to be critical later on in the game. Right, I develop my knight. He castles. I come in with a double attack, and he's really only got 2 options. He can undevelop his bishop, or he can push it forward to d6, which is the better move. But he doesn't do that, and here I blunder. Well, in fact, if I'd taken the bishop, he's just got rook e8, hasn't he? And my knight's pinned, so I would lose my knight anyway. So in retrospect, it was a very wise move on my account. He puts the rook on the only safe square, that's good. Now I come back, attack the bishop one more time, and he comes there. So what should I have done at this point? I could have captured the bishop and pinned my own knight, or I could have blocked the check. But I missed the discovery. He does not miss the discovery, and I have to move out of checks. Now my king's moved, I can't castle. Comes back to with two attackers on this pawn. He could have actually also just grabbed the pawn there and then. It's just a simple case of spotting undefended pieces, and he missed it. He could have equalised almost immaterial. Okay, the rook comes across. Now I come in with check and a discovery. So he moves, I grab a bishop, he recaptures, and now I move my pawn out of trouble. Okay, so this is interesting. So I see my pawn is in trouble here, right? It's attacked twice and not defended at all, and I could have simply moved it straight forward. I mean, that would be the logical natural move. But to be able to attack with a double check including a knight check, there's only one thing that can happen. The king must move. You can't block a double check. King moves, grab a bishop, he recaptures, and now I save my pawn. So it's really stressing the importance of move order there. Bishop now moves. I think probably it would have been preferable to engage the knight at this point, but bishop moves, not really attacking anything. I move my bishop now, just trying to get it to a slightly better square. Bishop moves again, push c3, bishop moves again, not concerned. g3, kicking the bishop, bishop retreats, now d4. Okay, now finally I'm kind of competing for the center towards the end of the game. This was an error, right? These pawns are bodyguards in front of the king. The key thing is that the king is defending both of these, right? This simply opens up weaknesses on the dark square. Now the king has no squares to move to. And I simply move my king out of the way. This is a poor move here, because his rook here at least was guarding the whole back rank. And here, it's only got the c-file to move on. And actually, not much of that anyway, because it's all guarded, right? So that was a very poor move, I think. And now we're just threatening mate in 2. So I'm attacking the bishop. Should the bishop move, say here, then I put my rook on e8, and that's checkmate. So he drops his rook back again, undoing his poor move from before. Capture a bishop, and now that is simply checkmate. Bishop's defended by my rook, and that square is covered by my bishop. And notice it's going through the f7 square. The f7 square that was lost because of this move, right? There should be a pawn on there defending that king, shielding that king from trouble, from harm. But this got rid of the f7 pawn, and that turned out to be quite decisive in the end. So there you go, interesting little game. Thank you for watching. Appreciate your support. I'll see you soon.